So before going into the details of this video, let's consider basically what this channel will contain. So this channel will contain basically Microsoft SQL concepts explained in detail, interview questions and their answers explained in detail. Along with that, this channel will also contain practical assignments with their answers and step by step explained everything in detail. So if you want to get notifications on the latest videos in this channel, request you to please subscribe to this channel. Start with the actual video, which is performance tuning. So first of all, what do you mean by performance tuning? So definitely it has something related to performance. We are definitely going to increase the performance of our queries. Now, what are the factors that decide the performance? So we'll make the queries faster, optimized, and efficient. But how? So there is not a single factor which decides the speed of the queries or whether it's optimized or it's efficient. There are like multiple factors. So we are going to see one by one each and every factor and also measure what is the time required if we don't use it and if we use that some factors which impact the performance. Or in simple words, what are the things we have to do to increase the performance of our queries? So let's start with first of them, which is like eliminate distinct. So now you would have seen many queries in which we use distinct clause to remove the duplicates. But this same functionality can be achieved by using group by clause. But what is the main reason for introducing group by is that you would see the query completes faster. So might be this would not be visible to you when you have less records, when you run that query for a single time, but when you run that same query for multiple times, or when it runs in a loop, or when multiple applications access some stored procedure, and in that same code is being called from multiple applications by multiple users, this definitely impacts the time. So to understand more on this, let's consider a demo. Here now you can see that we are using the distinct clause first. Now in distinct clause you can see the query which is there, it's a simple join. Just we have used over here the distinct clause, and just we want to filter out the records which are repeating, so they have to be unique. So I have used here the distinct clause. Now you can see over here I have considered 10 iterations. The same query you can consider equivalent to running for 10 times. Now in practical scenario, you can consider you have a stored procedure which has multiple such queries, and in everywhere a distinct clause is being used. Also, to add up to this, you can consider the same stored procedure is being called simultaneously by multiple applications. Also, you can consider, just to add to this, same stored procedure is being called multiple times because at the same time multiple users are accessing the application, and that application in turn is calling this stored procedure which has this query. So because of all this, the same query is being called multiple times. So as To consider the example, I have written over here 10 iterations. So after running for 10 times, you can see over here, the time elapsed over here is 1 minute 7 seconds. Now let's consider the same query written by using group by. So you can see over here, I have written over here same query. The only difference is to get the unique records, I have used group by clause. So both the queries are ensuring me that I have distinct records or unique records. But you can see over here, the time elapsed by group by is 1 minute 3 seconds. Here is the summary. We have used two keywords. One is distinct, one is group by. Iterations considered are 10. As you can see over here, the distinct keyword took 67.21 seconds and group by took 63.15 seconds. So net time gain, which we have got by using group by is 4.06 seconds. So in this total exercise, what we saw is group by completed 4.06 faster than the distinct clause. The next point which we are going to consider is avoid using star. Now you would have seen many times that in the select query, we use select star from the table. Now, from the performance perspective, this slows down the query. Now, if you have, say for example, 3 columns in a table, column 1, column 2, column 3. Now, there are two ways you can select the data from the table. Either select star from table 1 or select column 1, column 2, column 3 from table 1. The results which you are going to obtain from both the queries are same. But performance wise, if you mention the column names rather than using star, that would be much better. I mean, from the performance perspective. Now, why this is happening is because when you write select star from table 1, it then gets converted into the query select column 1, column 2, column 3 from table 1. So when you write select star, you are basically making a one more step to be done before it gets converted into the actual query. So that time required to convert select star into select and then column names is additional when you use select star. So it's a good practice to mention the column names which you want to select from a table. This is because it will give you a performance advantage. Now let's see a demo of how much it impacts. Let's consider the demo of this. First scenario, I write select star from TBL users. I have one table in which there are multiple columns. I write the select star and I run it for 10 times. The time taken by it is, as you can see in the elapsed time, is 6 seconds and to be more precise 6.71 seconds. Now basically the tool which I am using over here is the SQL Query Stress. It's from Microsoft only, and what it does is basically it gives you the performance of the query. You can define over here the iterations, the threads, and it will give you the entire details like average time or total time it took, right? So all the details you can get from over here. So for performance, to measure the performance of your query, you will get a clear idea on it by running it for multiple iterations. So the first scenario which we covered is select star from TBL users. Time taken is 6.71 seconds. Now let's move to the second scenario in which we mention the column names. So you can see over here, I have mentioned user ID, username, and CNT underscore ID. These are my three columns of the table. And now when I run the same query, I mean just minor changes, instead of star, I have given the column names. You can see the time taken is reduced to 5.83 seconds. So this is the difference which it makes, just a minor difference. Instead of using star, I have mentioned over here the column names. Marie, when we use the star in the select query and considering the iteration of 10 times, we saw that the time elapsed was 6.71 seconds. And when we replace the star with the actual column names and again running it for 10 times, we saw the time which it took total is 5.83 seconds. So if you see the difference, we have got a benefit of 0.88 seconds. That means when we mention the actual column names, the query completes 0.88 seconds earlier, considering 10 iterations. So here now we'll be starting with the next thing, which is avoid calling getDate always. Now you would have seen a lot of times what we do whenever we want to use getDate, what we do straight away, use the getDate function. Now suppose you have a query in which in the where clause you have to write a condition that this particular column should be less than getDate. So normally what is done is, rather than storing the value of getDate, directly getDate is used. So now what happens? GetDate is basically a function. Now each and every time if you will call that function, definitely that will add up the time. So what needs to be done basically is storing the value of getDate in a variable, and then using that variable in the query will give a lot of performance benefit, right? So let's see a demo of it. So now let's again use the same tool, which is SQL Query Stress. Now here you can see we have used a very basic query, which is like putting a filter of getDate, that our column, this column value, that is reg underscore date, this column's value should be less than getDate. This is the basic condition. So now you can see that considering 10 iterations here, the time which it took is around 13.35 seconds. Now we'll switch to an optimized version which gives better performance. So here what we have done, we have first of all declared a variable @getDate and stored the value of that getDate function in this variable. So because of this, what will happen when this where clause is executed on records in this table, every time this getDate will not be called. What will happen? Only this @getDate would be used. So what will happen with this? A performance benefit, right? You can see the time has reduced down to 12.79. Summary, when you are using getDate for 10 iterations, it is 13.35 seconds. And when you are using the variable and storing the value of getDate in that variable, for 10 iterations, it is 12.79 seconds. So the time saved by using variable is 0.56 seconds considering iteration of 10 in our query. Says avoid using end clause when you have more records in the subquery. So you have seen normally we use end clause when you have few records, but as the number of records in the subquery increases, we need to avoid using in clause. The reason is that it slows down the query drastically. So what is the solution for that? So in that case, we can use exists clause. Why? Because it's far more better in case of performance. So whenever you want to make the query better in performance, always try to replace in clause with exists clause. So now let's see a demo of it. Here you can see that we have used in clause. So we have used one table which is like TBL users, and in that we are checking that country ID should be present in TBL country. So the subquery contains this country ID and it returns the value. This value which is returned is then used in this condition, TBL users dot country ID. Now what happens is, if you can see the time over here, it's 7.35 seconds for one iteration. Now, as you can see, I have used exist clause over here, and rather than checking for the country ID is present or no, I have replaced with exist, and I just put the condition in this where clause over here that tc.cntid is equal to table users dot cnt underscore id, and whenever there is a match, that record would be displayed. So basically both are doing the same function, but you can see just in one iteration you can see the difference in timing, right? So basically in clause and exist clause, I mean, wherever you see the in clause, you should replace with exist clause. Just in one iteration you can see the difference in timing. Here is the summary of in clause and exist clause. Now since they were taking lot of time, so in this case I have considered the iteration of only one, and time taken by the in clause over here is 7.35 seconds. Exist clause took 7.13 seconds. So if you find the difference, the time which we saved over here is 0.22 seconds, and this is just in 1 second. I mean one iteration.